Hey everyone, welcome back. We are, me and Keith are back doing a Fireside chat again to pick up part 2 of analyzing the Warrior Cat arcs. So we'll be doing the new prophecy today. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, we're ready. Okay, yeah, because I think that this arc is the arc I probably like the least out of all the arcs. I don't know about you. Oh, and also to get ready, we will have there will definitely be spoilers in this arc as well.
A lot of spoilers.
Yeah, like it's just part of the analysis. So yeah, if you haven't read the second arc, just come back and watch this later. Anyway, going forward from that, what did you think of the arc overall? Because I would say that this is my least favorite arc.
I actually would say it is one of my favorite arcs because I like traveling books. I like it when they go somewhere and do, which I guess is in every series, but this series had more than most series.
Yeah, it had a lot of traveling. Yeah, because the rundown of the plot is basically a cat from each clan is given a prophecy from some cat that was important in their clan, and then they have to go find Midnight. And Midnight ends up being a badger, which is kind of weird, and I have questions. But, so basically they find Midnight all the way at the ocean, and then they're like, oh great, now we gotta go back home because the forest is gonna be destroyed, and then they get there, and it's being destroyed, and then they go to the lake, and then more things go down. So
I just wondered why they couldn't tell them while they were there.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I take it StarClan didn't know that the forest was going to be destroyed or something. Like, that's what I was inferring from the text. That Midnight knew, but they didn't. I don't know.
But it sounded like Midnight got it from StarClan.
It's not really clear because, as you see in spoilers in later books, Midnight shows up again, and she's usually with Rock, and Rock is not a StarClan cat. So I have absolutely no idea if Midnight is even really alive at times. See, she seems to show up at like the perfect moments, or unperfect moments, and I can't figure out if she, like, what her purpose is. But yeah, it's kind of odd, but
yeah, I almost wonder too. Maybe StarClan wanted them to travel that far to make sure that they knew how to take their clan down.
Well, they didn't end up going to the ocean, remember?
I know, but they still took them to the forest, which was kind of over the mountains where they came back. So they kind of already knew how to travel that way.
Yeah, it actually is true. Like, it would have given them a route.
And
like,
that
sort
may
of.
have made the clan more trusting in that they know how
Yeah.
to get there and taking, kids. Well, I guess I think they had kids and elders and stuff.
Yeah, well, some of the elders stayed behind to die, but yeah, I think
Who knows how long they lived? They could have lived a while.
I think, yeah, I don't know. It's really unclear what happened to them.
They could have lived a good little while.
They may have. I think Frostfur was left behind. Which other ones were left behind? Because they were gonna bury Mudfur, the Thunder, River Clan medicine cat. I know Frostfur was left behind. I know her for sure. Because I was like, no. Because I think she was cute. She had a cool name. But I thought it was pretty. But one thing I will say is I do wonder if they were meant to go to the ocean to learn teamwork, even though I don't think that really developed well. Like, the group of cats aren't really friends, so I don't feel like the teamwork message got through very well. But, I mean, there were times it was interesting or cute, but it's just, I don't know. I thought that might be, because I think the theme they were hitting at, I don't know what you think, but I feel like the theme of this arc was like teamwork and friendships and like relationships in general. Because of, Leafpool and Crowfeather later on, like, I feel like it was building up like a teamwork / kind of relationship message. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I feel like some of those were forced.
It felt like, okay, it could have been natural, I think. Had it been executed better. Like, had they, like, I get it. cats in real life would probably act that way. But when I'm reading a book, I kind of would have liked it if they wouldn't act that way. Like, you know, if Crowpaw at the time could have been a little bit more like, okay, I've got to get over being grumpy, and, you know, like, the Gray Stripe twins are fine. They're like, you know, until Feathertail died, which totally surprised me. As I said in my character corner on Feathertail, she was the first death I did not see coming at all in the series, and it really shocked me. I was so upset when she died, because I had this thought when the book started out, and I don't know about you, but I picked up Midnight, the first book in the series, and I read it, and it was from Brambleclaw's point of view, and Leafpool for some reason. I don't even, like, other than in the ending where she has the crow feather thing, like, I honestly have no idea what Leafpool's purpose is in this arc at all. I don't like Leafpool. But then I picked up Moonrise, and it was Stormfur, and I was like, ooh. And my cousin had told me at the time, she was reading Dawn, and she was like, oh, it's from Squirrel Flights. And I thought for sure, I was like, oh, I've cracked the code. I know it. Each one of these books is going to have a different POV from one of these journey cats. I mean, there's 6 journeying cats, and there's 6 books. I've got it. I totally had this nailed down, you know. And then Feathertail died, and I was like, oh, no. No. And yeah, it didn't turn out how I wanted, but I don't know about you. I was so upset. Because I thought it would be cool to have, like, a POV from each of the characters.
That would have been a cool element for them to add. That really would have.
It would have also been, like, better if you're trying to push that teamwork aspect, because then you could have seen, like, how each of the characters viewed their team and their friendship and that kind of thing. You know, I don't know. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it would have been a really cool element for them to add. It would have,
And it could have also given them some better main characters.
Yeah.
Because I don't like any of the main characters in this series at all. Like, Brambleclaw was fine. I don't know. I don't like him very much. And I didn't like Squirrel Flight until later books at all. Honestly, like, I was like, why is she here? I don't like her. And Leafpool I didn't like. Stormfur was probably my favorite out of all of them. But that's not saying much because he only gets 1 book. But he was, like, my favorite as far as his perspective and his, you know, him being torn. Like, I felt like his book was the most intriguing to me overall out of them all. So, yeah, I didn't like the main characters. I felt like there was really no real, like, climax to the story. Like, did you... Like, I guess if I had to pick one, obviously it's the final battle with... or the final skirmish, rather, with Hawkfrost, but it felt so lackluster, and I was like, there really isn't a climax here at all. It's like a forced climax in a 3-book epilogue. Like, the climax should have been them finding the lake or something, I guess. Or maybe...
Yeah, I don't know. There's a climax, because it's not really a fighting book or anything like that. The book is more based on moving.
And then there's still a lot of fighting, considering the fact that it's not a book like that.
But it's
an arc.
Fighting, as in they're all grumpy at each other for having to travel with the other clans. Right. A lot of that is more them just being upset that they have to travel together. But
right, which is reasonable.
There's no large-scale battles or no large-scale, like, ooh, we have to figure this out. The biggest thing was even finding out where they're going to go. And not knowing that they can find a location. And the tribes all worked in there, but there is no real climax. There is a bunch of little climaxes, but no main climax, I would say.
Yeah, like, you're right. Like, finding the ocean. Whoa. And then it's like, oh... all the cats are getting caught in traps. Oh, and then it's like Gray Stripes captured. Oh, it's like it's not enough to be a climax. Some of it's not even solved till later arcs. It's just crud.
Yeah, it's funny because you're right. There is a bunch of little climaxes that interrupt you the whole way.
Or like little plot hiccups, I guess I would call those, because they're just like, oh, here's a thing, and yeah, it's like doesn't go anywhere because it's solved a few minutes later, and it's like, oh, never mind, all the cats are free, yay. You know, like it would have been kind of interesting in some ways. Like, what if a cat hadn't come back at all?
Ooh.
Like, what if, like, I don't want this because I like Brightheart, but what if Brightheart just left, was taken, and never came back? Like, what if? Or even Graystripe. I know, it's horrible, but what if?
Why would you do that?
Like,
Why?
it would have been a little bit more, like, I would have felt like there was more stake in the plot. Like, there was more, oh my goodness, this is really grim and this is really desperate kind of thing, but it doesn't feel that way because it's always solved really fast. You know? Or even, like, even if, like, Cody is one of the kitty pets. I remember her name because it was interesting name for a cat.
How do you...
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember that. I do remember the whole
like, what if
where they're in
Cody
the truck.
disappeared? Oh, yeah, what?
I remember the whole debacle when they're in the truck, and
Yeah.
but I did not.
Yeah, Leafpool was, like, bragging to a kitty pet, like, yeah, I'm all that because I'm a clan cat, and Brightheart's like, we're doomed. But, yeah. But, like, what if, you know, even if she had been taken and never come back, like, even that would have felt like, oh, no. You know what I mean? It would have, like, even if they hadn't gotten rid of a clan cat. Because, I mean, a lot of cats do die. Like, Shrewpaw dies. And Ferncloud loses 2 kits. I think they were Large Kit and Holly Kit, but I'm not sure. I think
You're
those
probably right. You're always right with that thing.
Well, I have no... I think that's it, because I think Hollyleaf is actually, like, the second Holly in the clans. And then Holly Tuft is now, like, the third. There's just always got to be a Holly cat around, apparently. And, yeah, I think those were their names. They were Birch Falls siblings.
Yeah.
Like, they all died, and a lot of cats died on the way, and, like, I think one of them fell off the cliff or something, going to the... It's an apprentice,
Yeah,
I
it
remember.
was the-
Tumbled off the cliff.
Yeah, but which one was it? Yeah, that made them all scared. I don't know.
Yeah, it freaked him out. But, you know, like, and obviously, like, the elders basically all die off until, like, Mousefur's like, I'm gonna retire at the end of mentoring. I think it was Spiderleg was her apprentice. But, yeah. I believe so. Because I was like, oh, that's why he's such a grump. He had a grump as his mentor. I love Mousefur, so I'm just being teasing. Because it's funny. But, oh, what else? So I had other things on this agenda to talk about. Oh, right. So the tribe gets introduced. I actually think the tribe is interesting. I would say that I see people get pretty negative on the tribe, and like, some people in the fandom are like, why do we talk about the tribe when there's, like, clan cats? And, you know, I've seen people, like, in the community talk about that, and I'm like, you know, I actually think the tribe's interesting, especially when Jayfeather goes back in time and you learn where the tribe is and Dawn of the Clans, that kind of thing, like, what they are really. So I think they're pretty interesting myself. You know, overall, I think they're a little bit weak, but it kind of makes sense because they've got almost no food and they're cold all the time. But I think it's a neat concept to add another, like, kind of, like, another system like the clans, but without support. So you can see what happens when the clans don't have a support group and it's just one clan. It kind of becomes weak and can fall apart easily and have a bad leader in some cases.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think it was meant to really show that this is what a clan could look like if they only had one clan, but having 4 makes them stronger, or 5 as they should be, but in this case 4.
6, actually.
Well, StarClan doesn't.
I always include StarClan.
StarClan's like StarClan's like the ancestor, because the tribe has one of those too. They have the Tribe of Endless Hunting.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like it doesn't really count because you need that support group, like a backup group that can help with things. You know, in the case, like, you need several, but still, like, I thought that it was good to demonstrate that. I mean, I thought it was really neat too. How, like, they have a similar culture, and I thought their names were interesting. Like, they've got these super long names, like Brook, where small fish swim. It's just funny.
Yeah, there's some interesting names.
Like, isn't it
Screech.
isn't it like Storm was like Star and Belly or something? Like, I thought that was one of the weirdest ones I ever read. I'm like, what in the world?
There's Talon and Screech, but I forget it's
Or Scree.
yeah, Screech, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's Brook, Scree, Talon. There's a lot.
Storm.
I'm glad Stormfur's happy. I think it would be interesting to get a book on the tribe in general.
Tribe POV without the clans and everything.
Yeah, without the clans, because I would love to see from a Tri-Cat's perspective what they think of the clans and what they think of themselves. And I think it would be a really interesting thing. And it could come from Stormfur, because Stormfur spent enough time there that I think that getting his POV with him just being in the tribe could be a very interesting take on things. Like 10 chapters, I think, could do it. Maybe. I think it could set up the tribe enough, because we already know the basics of their lore, so I think if you had like a novella on Stormfur or something, I think you could...
A super edition?
I don't think I'd want to read a super edition on the tribe.
I would want to read a super edition. I like the tribe a lot.
The problem is, I know they're going to make it into something like...
oh, you're right.
Like, I don't know, like maybe Sharptooth had like another... Like, they're going to do that, so I don't know.
They
like,
could do it good, but...
Like, I guess I just want like a quick like how they view culture things. A novella I'd be happy with for that, like for Stormfur. I think that would be very interesting to see. But anyway, so moving on. So the clans have that whole thing with the traps. Like I said, it just felt weak to me. Firestar loses a couple lives, I think, in this book too. Like, it is pretty desperate and it's pretty grim, and seeing, like, you know, trees cut down and the gathering 4 trees kind of destroyed is kind of sad.
Why, that was really depressing.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like a nostalgia, you know, it's like, oh, it's gone. You know, it's sad, and then they leave and go through the mountains like we said, so the tribe's introduced, and that's interesting. And then they get to the lake, and then we have, like, this whole... plot that comes up of, oh great, now Wind Clan's in like almost like a civil war kind of thing. Like, it's almost got like these 2 cats vying for leadership. You have like Mudclaw and you have One Whisker, and Mudclaw had every right to be leader. Even like, I just don't know on this. Like, Mudclaw technically should have been the leader, and then right on his deathbed, Tallstar's like, nope, One Whisker's the deputy now. Then, you know, but the only cats around hearing him were these ThunderClan cats, and, you know, it just tears everything apart, and it becomes kind of exhausting in some ways, and I don't know. Like, because it's resolved so fast, it's like, you could have made that the second arc's, like, focal point. Like, even Hawkfrost was involved in that, so hey, cool. You could have made that the conflict point, but then it's solved so fast. It's like, nope, no Mudclaw, tree falls on him, or struck by lightning. Like, I think it happens like at the exact same time.
And then they get a gathering place.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh no, he's dead. Wait, cool, we get a gathering place, yay! And it's like, that's it. Like, that's the entire war, like this whole thing. And it even brings up so many, like, well, who has the right? And it's like, well, you know, if you want, like, one star has basically, like, he didn't serve as deputy, and he's, yeah, but he's a quote-unquote nice cat, so sure, why not? But then Mudclaw technically did the hard work to get to the deputy, and then it's like, you can understand where he's coming from. So, I don't know.
I almost wonder, he might have not been a better deputy in the end than One Whisker Star.
Yeah, One Star. I think, honestly, both of them, like, One Star ended up being cruddy. Horrible, horrible leader. So, at the end of the day, I don't think it really would have mattered which one, which is kind of also sad, because it's like, we went through all that for nothing. Which we kind of did in general, because it ended up being nothing. It's like, What do we do for a gathering place? Solved. What do we do for a moon pool? Oh, look, here's one. You know, like a Star Clan connection point. You know, what do we do? And it's like, oh, here's a moon pool. Solved. And, you know, it's like all these things could have been interesting arc-wide, like, mysteries and in conflict, but it wasn't acted like that. It's like every book, it's like, bing, 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 solved. And I think that's my biggest problem, because even Hawkfrost, it's like, oh no, like, he could kill Firestar. And although I do think it's really cute, because it's just like when you read it, Hawkfrost is like, look, brother, look, I got your leader for you. Now you can kill him and be leader with me. And then Brambleclaw's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. But it's kind of cute from Hawkfrost, because he's just like, look, look, look. But, I don't know, I thought it was funny. And, you know, but at the same time, it was solved so fast, it's like, ha, foxtrap to the neck. Done. You know? That's it. And, I mean, even like, oh, I just hate the love triangle in this. It's just so forced. I hate it. Let Squirrelflight be with Ashfur, or I don't care, because I don't like Brambleclaw and her together at all. They just fight too much. Because it's a cute...
It works out in the end.
But then it doesn't.
Then it does again, and then
it doesn't again.
Yeah.
If you keep reading the series, it's like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, guys, just stop. Like, at the end of the day, I think, honestly, I think Squirrelflight and Ashfur probably would have been a better couple, because they were just, they were totally not dramatic, and it was just nice. Like, it wasn't bad, it was cool, you know? Sure, Ashfur snapped later on and was probably unstable to begin with, but we didn't know that, so it was fine. You know? But I hate Brambleclaw and Squirrelflight. It just, oh, I hate the ship. Because it feels so forced. Because it's like, they're mad at each other. They like each other. They're mad at each other. They like each other. And it's like, oh, just come on, pick a side already. Do you or don't you? Because I think in theory it was cute. They become close from being on the journey. They learn to work together. I don't need the drama. I don't need the arguments. I don't need it. I'm happy if they're together. Maybe they have like one fight and then make up, but it's like every 5 minutes. Wow. Okay, we like each other. We like each other, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying because but I still feel like they normally tend to work it out for a majority of the time, but maybe it's just that we're not in their POV anymore. You know?
Well, I read their super editions, so
yeah, I have.
Yeah, it goes on. It goes on and on and on, constantly.
Yeah, maybe Ashfur would have been. Maybe he wouldn't have been mentally unstable if that would have happened. If it would have turned out in his way.
I mean, it's hard to tell. I just think before she broke up with him, he was actually a good cat, and he seemed to genuinely care about her, and he was a good guy, you know? Like, he was nice. Like, Brambleclaw just can't figure it out. And, like, I don't know, I feel like the two of them together fight more than they're, like, I don't know, like, there's far more fan art for them than moments when they're actually getting along. And it's frustrating, because I think they could have been the cutest couple in the entire series with the most build-up and payoff, but then it's just not. And that bothers me.
Yeah.
A lot. So, yeah. But this series is still good. I really like how they go to the lake. I actually prefer the lake territories to
Totally.
the forest.
Much better, much better.
It feels bigger to me. Like, does it to you? Because it feels bigger.
You know what? It actually would make sense if it feels bigger, because if the distance from the center to the outer is the same distance, they're measuring from the lake out, so then you have the whole lake, so it's actually going to be bigger territories in the end. Because they would have the same amount of land, not including the lake, so you still have to walk further to get around.
But I feel like the world...
But it also adds a whole new element, because the lake is there, and it adds something new. And the whole world does feel bigger, because before they were trapped in by the mountains.
Yeah.
And there was two legs on one side, Trika Place there, and then there was the mountains. so they had nowhere to go.
Right, like there's
Right.
less kitty pet drama now, but I feel like there's so much more rogue drama that is so exciting, and more like wild animal drama, but not
Wild animal drama.
like I don't like it every 5 minutes when there's like a fox attack, but I did think the badger thing was actually interesting, that the badgers were like didn't want to be bullied. Like it felt almost like a rogue attack to me. But it was with badgers, and like that I was actually interested to read about. Instead of like a badger attack every other book, I thought that was a very interesting. Oh, like they were upset by that, and that was interesting to read about. I also feel like the clans fight less over petty things, like Sunning Rocks is gone now, so I sometimes I got tired of all the petty arguments about who the rocks belong to. Kind of thing. So I would say that I love the new territories, and I also think they must be better for the cats, because they seem to have more food and more space, because the clan just grows to like an immense size. Like now in the Broken Code, it's huge. It's like 2 pages of cats. Whereas
my.
every clan, like even now you should be able to see like it's growing pretty fast.
It is. I don't even know how they're gonna have den room for that many. They already have to expand the den every chapter, it feels like.
Yeah.
They're literally like, oh, we gotta expand the den. Oh, never mind, we gotta expand that. We gotta expand it again.
Yeah,
And
I
it
think
just
now
stacks,
there's like
stacks,
a
stacks,
couple.
stacks.
I think there's actually like a couple warrior dens or something.
What?
Yeah, I think they have like several, parts of the den built up. But yeah, like I feel like the clan grew, so it must be better territory. And even now, yeah, spoilers. In the Broken Code, there's like a really bad winter, but yet they're still finding food, and they're still able to feed the clan even though they're like hungrier. I think it seems better because when you look at the old territories, they were really, really hungry in Leafbear. Like it was more of a big deal, and cats were getting sick more. Whereas in this series, it's like, oh, we're just a little hungry, more than usual. But it seems to be healthier territory. So I love the lake. I feel like there's more interesting things going on than in the forest. Like I felt like the forest was very pinned in and very one-dimensional. Even though it's nostalgic.
But it may have been better for a start.
Oh, it was way better for a start.
Because it gives the person time to learn the stuff.
Yeah.
And then when they move, it's actually really smart on the author's side.
And I still think Four Trees has, like, every time I go back and read one from Four Trees, it does have, like, it has a sense of awe there. And it's probably because I read from Firestar's POV that I'm like, it has that awe factor for me. Whereas, like, the island doesn't. It's just like, oh, cool, the island. But, I still think the lake is overall better. So I'm happy for that. I love that. I'm disappointed that River Clan doesn't get much more attention now because they're on the other side of the lake from Thunder Clan. But I am really glad that Wind Clan did move beside Thunder Clan. I kind of wish Shadow Clan and River Clan had switched, to be quite honest. But, because Wind Clan, I don't feel like got a lot of development in the first arc, but because now they're neighbors, I feel like they get more attention and more characters, and I actually like that a lot. Like having a clan that gets some more development is kind of interesting, like Wind Clan. Like I'm glad they did switch up one of them. I just wish it had been Shadow Clan. It's giving also flipping, but hey, it's cool. At least now we have some drama on that end. Yeah, so I think that, it's still a great arc. It's still really interesting. Like, there are some sweet moments, like Squirrel Flight and Leaf Pool have, like, a really interesting, connection, and, I think, like, there's a lot of, I would say this arc, more than any other, actually has some more friendships in it, like, Mothwing and Leaf Pool and Swirltail, there's some cute friendships in there. What?
Leaf Pool.
Yeah, Leaf Pool meets a lot of people because I guess she's just that outgoing. I don't know.
Yeah, but she never seemed outgoing.
She seems shy, but also really friendly and very approachable. I don't like her as a character because she irritates me, but I do think she's one of those characters that a lot of people feel comfortable around right off the bat because she's just that kind, I guess. I don't know. I don't like how whiny she is. That's my biggest deal with her. I just don't like how she's so whiny. Like, stop whining. But you know, yeah, Crowfeather's grown on me. When I read his Super Edition, I absolutely fell in love with him because he's like a little bit more world-wise J-Feather, I guess. I guess I really like Crowfeather now. I didn't at first. I did not like him from other cats' POV, but in his POV, he is wonderful. And very interesting. He's just, like, how J-Feather says sarcastic stuff out loud? He says them inside. So it's really funny. Yeah. But yeah, there are great things about this book, and the next series that comes after is amazing, and this one sets that up to happen. So I really do think it does well in doing that. But anyway, so I know this one seemed kind of like a negative review. I do think one thing that could have helped is, like I said before, if they broke the arc into like different characters. Like if you gave Feathertail the first book, like Midnight, because she dies, and like you start in River Clan and receive her prophecy. Basically, like if you took the end of the graphic novel and made that ending like the beginning of Midnight, I think it would have been more interesting. And then just let Stormfur have Moonrise. Let Tawny Pelt like have Dawn, I think, probably, because there's some shenanigans going on in Shadow Clan. And I guess Crowfeather could have like Starflight, Wings of Fire over here. Starlight.
Starflight's a warrior cat name.
Yeah, I get actually. Oh my goodness. Oh no, because Star wouldn't be used.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe in Dawn of the Clans, because they didn't mind using Star back then. Before Star was a suffix. But in Starlight, like you could have Crowfeather, because I would have loved his POV in this series. Like he's just a very interesting character that needs to grow. And Squirrelflight could have like Twilight or something, or Brambleclaw, and then Brambleclaw or Squirrelflight could take Sunset, because they're like they kind of take the ending, those two, the most, and develop the most there or not, depending on how you view it. So I think like their drama, it really makes up those last two books, I think. So it would have been interesting maybe to give like each of those characters a book, like so that way it was more split up between each cat. Because I think that's something Warriors doesn't do a lot. They tend to either they tend to split up the POVs in books. Like I think New Prophecy is the only one that's like, this book is this character and this book is this character. Like they never do that again. And I think they could do that if they did it right. And I think that's like a better way of doing it, is like, oh, you presented 6 main characters, we'll give them each a book where they grow. And I think, or where they're the main focus or something. And I think that would be really cool. But overall, I really, like, I don't know. In hindsight, I didn't like this arc, but as much. But it's still good, and it's still a really good start into Power 3. But anyway,
yeah.
So this has been Lily and Keith analyzing the second arc. So I hope this was interesting. Anything you want to say?
I was just gonna say that I still like this series a lot.
Yeah, and we'll keep
overall.
doing the other ones if you want. Like we can still do Power 3 and Omen of the Stars and keep going forward if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
sounds
awesome.
Great.
All right, so bye everyone. Have a great week.